Hey guys, welcome to the Team Hardcore training call. Today is July 19th. I always have to double check my calendar. Yeah, today's July 19th, so we're midway through March. Hopefully this week you started your Lift 4 program. I literally just finished my shoulder workout from Lift 4 and I had to just like kind of touch up and dry off the sweat and put on a wrinkly t-shirt and pretend like I've got myself all put together for this training. But I am so excited about this training because this is one that is really, if there is one thing in this business that you absolutely have to have, and it is your number one asset, it is your mindset. And I don't care how many other trainings we do on how to invite and how to build a team and how to train your team and how to be a leader and how to effectively use social media and how to post, effectively and blah, blah, blah. If your mindset isn't right, none of that works. And you're going, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And I signed up for so-and-so's program and I'm doing that. And it's like nothing's working. Your mindset has to be in the right place. And so we cannot talk enough about this topic. And I'm so excited to be bringing you today a speaker who I've had him at our local Super Saturday. He's actually spoken at a couple of our Super Saturdays. He's excellent on this topic. He is a mindset coach, an inspirational speaker. He's also a husband, and they have a little cockapoo. That's their firstborn, so to speak. And so he's from Michigan. So he's local to me. I'm in Ohio, but I'm practically in Michigan because I'm so close to the Michigan border. And he's one that I just really feel like is such a good person to speak to you on this topic. So with that, Brad Bizjack, are you there?
I am here, Janelle. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And I'm so excited to speak with you guys today. And can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay?
I can hear you great.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much for having me today. And just to be able to present to Team Hardcore, it is a pleasure and just an honor to be here. I've looked up to you, Janelle, for such a long time, and I don't take this opportunity lightly. And my goal today is to bring you guys just so much value and to help you really master your mindset and overcome any sort of negative self-talk that goes on in here that's getting in the way of you achieving incredible things in your life and your business. And I say life and business because this isn't just about hitting the next rank or recruiting the next teammate. This is about your life too. So as we go through this stuff, picture your husband, picture your wife, picture your kids, picture your family. Because most of the time, that one little aha moment that you have to transform your business will also transform your relationships in your life too. So I can't see the comments because we're on YouTube, but maybe just amongst yourselves in the comment section on YouTube yourselves, like type in the comments, what is your really big goal that you have? You're coming out of Team Beachbody Coach Summit, right? You got that fire, that energy, but something, especially if you're a new coach, that you might not know is that energy of Summit. It's up to you to maintain that. You have to find the fire from within, and there's a recipe to making that happen. So think about that goal that you have. There is an incredible thing about that goal. Like I said, there's a recipe to making it happen, and you know your basic business building activities, right? You have one of the greatest leaders in the entire company to teach you that. But one thing that you might miss is the way you go about using those ingredients of your business matters. So what does that mean? You could invite 1 billion people, but if your mindset is off, you're going to repel them. You could pour hours and hours into a challenge group for your clients, but if your mindset is off, they might feel like you're using them, right? So what goes on in your mind, your self-talk, your mindset is by far and above the most important piece of all of it. And you've heard that before, right? You've heard you have to master your mindset, but instead of just knowing it, today I'm going to show you how to actually apply it and take limiting beliefs and negative self-talk and flip them on its head so you can use those challenging parts of your life for empowerment to lead you to a better future, especially when you hit a place in your business or your life where you don't want to apply it. We all hit those points, right? Where we feel kind of down in the dumps. We kind of get a little bit lazy. We don't post on social media. We don't invite as many people, whatever it is. We kind of hold back. So I'm going to show you how to apply it when you're in those states of mind too. But before I get into that, I want to share with you a couple of quick stories. And after those stories, I'm going to show you how to take those limiting beliefs and that negative self-talk and turn it into an amazing tool for success and happiness. But the reason I share these stories with you is because these stories are where my limiting beliefs came from. And I'm going to get totally real with you and open about my past real quick. This is where my limiting beliefs came from. So growing up, I had an emotional roller coaster of a childhood. And it gave me some pretty messed up beliefs about how life is. And it completely screwed over my my success belief and my own abilities, right? And I'm curious, can you relate to the topic of money stress? Like, really think about that. Can you relate to the topic of money stress at any point in your life? And I remember growing up, my parents would always fight about money almost every single day. There was always a limitation, some form of we can't afford that, or some form of you spend how much on what? And I remember witnessing screaming matches between my parents, and I never quite understood why. I remember one time I was probably about 10, and it was a particularly bad fight between my parents, and they were having an argument about why the bank account was overdrawn again. And there were swear words being thrown around from both ends. And I remember saying, why do you guys always have to fight about stupid money? And my mom snapped at me and told me to shut the F up, go to my room, right? And right then my dad came over, and I remember this memory vividly. He came over with a bottle of soap, like one of those soft soap dispensers, and started pouring it down my mom's neck for talking that way in front of us. And I remember linking up that money equals pain. Right? My little brother and I were sitting there crying, and we don't know what to do. We don't know if we should be mad at mom for saying mean things to me or mad at dad for taking the argument up a level. We didn't really know. And that memory became so ingrained in my head for the rest of my life. I just hated money because whenever it came up, it felt like someone was about to get punched, right? And that never happened. But all the stress around it made me fear having it. And if you pair that with seeing my parents always overdraft their accounts every week, or the day-to-day fights, or never having a peaceful Christmas or birthday, or always saying no to going on vacations when all my other friends were because of money, seeing them struggle even to this day and eventually get divorced, right? I believed money was bad. I believed that it made you a horrible person. I believed, past tense, that it tore relationships apart. And money is the reason that it took me 6 years to propose to my wife. I was afraid that if I got married and had money, it would rip us apart. So that's the first story where my limiting belief about my abilities with money came from. But on top of the money, I had a pretty turbulent relationship with my mother growing up. Now, I just want to make sure to say that I absolutely love my mom. I've forgiven her for everything from my past, and we have a great relationship now. But getting to that point took some time because I was angry and I was sad. I didn't realize at the time that my mom was loving me as much as she possibly could in the only way she really knew how at the time, which was her needing complete control. And I just have this one memory drilled into my head, and see if you can relate to this. It feels like yesterday. I'd be laughing and joking on the school bus coming down the street, and my stop was about to come, and I could see my house coming in the distance, right? And I started to get a little bit nervous. I got all tensed up, and the bus driver would pull up, and I'd take my blue backpack, I'd get off the bus, I'd walk across the lawn to the garage door, I'd type in the little code, and I'd walk through that garage and instantly get hit with the smell of cigarette smoke. And I'd walk in the door. I remember opening the door, and to the left there was the laundry room, and to the right I saw my mom. And she was on her computer playing a game called Bejeweled. It's like some computer game or whatever that you play in your downtime, right? And with a cigarette in one hand and her hand on the mouse in the other hand. And that memory is just burned in here because every single day I'd see her in that position, and sometimes I wouldn't get a hello. Other times I was greeted with a hug and a smile. Most of the time I was sent to my room without knowing why. A lot of times I'd get screamed at and I don't even know what I did. I was so confused, and I remember just thinking to myself, why doesn't my mom love me? Or what do I have to do to get my mom to love me? And obviously my mom loved me, right? She still does. There was just no consistency, and to an impressionable little kid, that's very confusing. You don't know what to think, right? That's just one example, but I grew up craving her love and never really quite feeling like I was enough. I never felt worthy. I never felt like I deserved someone loving me for myself. And that screwed up how I lived my life. I'd be like a chameleon. I'd change who I was depending on the peer group I was in just to feel accepted. And I always wanted to be the center of attention and up on stage because it helped me feel loved and accepted when smiling eyes were on me. And I actually felt like I mattered because I never felt like I was enough. And you might have a different story, but where can you relate to where your limiting beliefs came from? What limiting beliefs or belief do you have now because of something that happened years ago that you haven't forgiven or forgotten yet? When we're little, like I said, we're impressionable, right? And it's in those times that our beliefs about ourselves and our abilities start to take shape. See, when I started my business 5 years ago, it didn't matter how many people I invited. It didn't matter how many social media posts I put up. It didn't matter how many team calls I signed up for speaking on. It was always the same. My bank account was always overdrafting. My paychecks were a few $100 a week at most. I remember I was always just skating by, and I would always see that red font in chase.com showing that I was overdrafted by 49 cents or whatever. And I measured my worth at the time by the number of successful people that knew my name. I became friends with a woman named Autumn Calabrese. I'm sure you know who that is. And I thought that because I was friends with someone successful, I was in the initial test group for a program with someone that's successful, I just felt a touch of worthiness. I felt like I mattered, like I was finally enough. And I remember a couple of years ago, this woman named Janelle Summers, I'm wondering if you know who that is, asked me to speak at a Super Saturday event. And I felt in that moment, finally, this touch of worthiness. Like I felt awesome because this successful person with all these incredible things in her life knew who I was and cared about me. I felt like I finally mattered. And we all do stuff like that sometimes. We all just want to be noticed sometimes, right? We sometimes don't feel worthy of greatness or success because of ourselves, right? And my clients and my friends ask me all the time why I decided to start coaching people on their mindset for their business and for their life. And sure, I want to create an amazing business full of financial freedom and success and all that stuff. I want a great lifestyle just like you. But the real reason I started my business is because I finally wanted to feel unconditional love for myself. I finally wanted to unapologetically and authentically pour myself into other people without having to change who I was just to feel loved. I wanted to feel worthy. And I finally wanted to stop changing myself just to fit in. I wanted to be nice to myself. And my business is a tool in doing that. So why do I tell you all that for the last 7 minutes? Why did I tell you those stories? Because when I tried to build a business, initially, the overwhelming amount of negative self-talk and limiting beliefs from those experiences stopped me in my tracks. I found a way to overcome it. And if you want to change your business and your life like I did, like Janelle did, there are a few things you can do, and I'm going to tell you 3 of them today. So the first is to rewire the supercomputer of your mind. What does that mean? Well, you start to tell yourself these stories, right? Money is bad. Eating healthy is hard. I can't find a loving partner. My kids are idiots. My husband's an asshole. Whatever it is, I'm not enough. And if you say it enough times, you start to believe it, right? Have you ever told a story at a party so many times over and over and over again to the point where you don't even know if that story is true anymore, right? You've just said it so many times that you tell it with so much conviction, you don't even know which details are real and which ones aren't. But you believe it anyways, and you tell that story because you've said it over and over and over again. The same thing happens with our mindset, with negative self-talk. Only instead of it being a fun party topic, it sabotages our life. So let's call these disempowering beliefs your default software. And you go through life believing that negative self-talk in your mind, right? And have you ever been sitting there on the couch? Maybe you just started your business, or maybe you've been in your business for a while and you're not to where you want to be yet. Or maybe you can't get to that next level, right? Have you ever been sitting there just wondering why you can't, or just wondering why you're being so mean to yourself because you're not there yet, but you don't know how to fix it, right? I'm going to teach you how right now. So the first thing that you need to know is that you're not broken. There is nothing wrong with you. We just need to rewire what's going on up here, the way your mind thinks. We have to believe that we're enough. We have to believe that we're important. You have to believe that you can make that big of an impact. And you can do that by changing your questions. Write this down. Better questions annihilate negative self-talk. Better questions annihilate negative self-talk. So have you ever faced a point in your life where you're trying to convince yourself you're good enough, or that you deserve something great, but you never really start to believe it? Like you want to believe it really, really bad, but you just don't. Like, have you ever done a vision board or written out your goals for the year? And when you write out like 5-star by this date, or 10-star by this date, or Emerald Coach, or Million Club, or whatever your goal is, you write out these big goals, right? And right when you write that out or put it on your vision board, there's this little devil right here. And he just goes, and just kind of like laughs at you and tells you that it's not going to happen, right? He's like, yeah, right, dude. And you can barely hear him, but he's just sitting back there whispering doubt and fear into your subconscious mind. So we gotta change that thinking. So what is thinking, right? Thinking is nothing more than the process of asking yourself a question. That's what thinking is. See, if you focus on asking yourself bad questions, you're going to get bad answers. If you focus on asking yourself great, empowering questions, you're going to get great, empowering answers. See, the mistake I made was I thought that I just had to work harder. And yeah, you got to work hard. You got to bust ass in your business. But there's a point where you've been working really hard for a really long time and you're wondering what's going on. There's inner conflict going on. That's what's happening. So when you focus on what you don't want, you're going to create more of it, right? So do this exercise with me. Look around the room right now for everything you can find that is red. Look around the room for red. Look for red, 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 look for red. How many things did you find that were blue? Right? You have no idea because you weren't looking for blue, right? You were looking for red. I bet you can count a bunch of things that were red. You probably found 5, 6, whatever it is. But now look around the room for everything that's blue. Do it right now. Look for blue, 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 look for blue. How many more things did you find that were blue? You probably even found some things that were teal and rationalized that they were blue so you could feel successful, right? Right? So that is the power of our mind, right? When you focus on what you don't want, those are the seeds of doubt and skepticism and pain. When you look for red, right? You focus on what you don't want, you're going to find it. It's going to be everywhere and you're going to see it just lighting up, right? And those thoughts grow in your mind like weeds and you start to think that only red exists because you don't see the blue, right? Have you ever been shopping for a car and when you decide you want that 2010 Ford Fusion, whatever it is, right? That's the type of car I have. When you decide that you want that Range Rover, whatever it is, all of a sudden you start seeing that car everywhere. There's something in your mind called the reticular activating system that basically fizzes out everything else that you're not focused on. So when you're focused on what you don't want, you're going to find it everywhere. And those thoughts grow in your mind like weeds. So if you haven't listened to the audio, Building Your Network Marketing Business by Jim Rohn, I highly recommend that you listen to that. He has a quote in there, or The Art of Exceptional Living by Jim Rohn too. That's another good one. He has a quote that says, stand guard at the gates of your mind or weeds will grow automatically. So close your eyes right now and ask yourself this. Ask yourself with your eyes closed, why am I not enough? Just try it. Even if you feel like you're successful, close your eyes and ask yourself, why am I not enough? And start to listen to all the answers that start pouring out of you. Like, how motivated do you feel when you focus on how you're not enough, right? You don't feel that motivated at all. And even when you read happy, inspirational, motivational, personal growth books, you still have that voice that says you're not enough. Everybody on this call today, everyone on this call today has limiting beliefs. We all do. And if you don't think that you have a limiting belief, that is a limiting belief, right? So I shared a couple stories a minute ago about where my biggest limiting beliefs came from. What are yours, right? What are your biggest negative beliefs? I'm going to show you how to turn them on their head right now. So have you ever had thoughts of, why don't I ever have enough money? Or why can't I get it right? Or why am I so lonely? Or why don't people like me? Or how come I always mess it up? Or, why am I so fat? Or why am I so broke? Or why is it so much easier for Janelle? Or why do I never catch a break? Or, why is it always easier for other people? Or why can't I do anything right? Or why am I so unhappy, right? Do you ever say stuff like that to yourself? Seriously, like, are you a butthole to yourself like that, right? Like, just let's be real. It doesn't feel very good to ask yourself those questions, does it? No, it doesn't feel good. And I bet it leads to a lot of pain, a lot of procrastination, and you're sitting there looking at your life frustrated with the results you're getting. And even getting back from Summit, no matter how much someone tells you that you can have success with your business, no matter how many people tell you that they believe in you, and no matter how many times you see other people just like you achieving amazing things, there's still that little voice of doubt that says, no, you can't. Do you know what I'm talking about, or am I crazy? So when you set a goal, your dominant beliefs will determine if that goal will come true. And setting goals is nothing more than trying to create a new reality as opposed to your current reality. That's what goal setting is. You're trying to create a new reality. So you have to change that current reality. But there's a gap between those two places, and those are either your empowering beliefs or your limiting beliefs. You get to choose what goes in the middle. But until those beliefs are empowering, you're never going to get from point A to point B. In fact, you're going to be working your butt off wondering why the heck things aren't working until you learn how to create empowering beliefs. So have you ever felt that even though it would be life-changing to achieve a goal, you just don't believe it's possible? You can change it with better questions. In fact, your entire life can be changed by asking yourself more empowering questions. So when you ask yourself a question, you just proved yourself a second ago, your brain automatically searches for the answer. So ask yourself this right now. Even if you're wealthy, ask yourself, why can I never save money? Just ask yourself, why can I never save money? And unless you've programmed your mind regularly with personal growth and belief work, you're going to start to ask yourself, or you're going to start to wonder or find all these answers why you can't save money. Your brain was actually looking for the answer. Even if you're wealthy on this call, you still look for an answer. And just like Google, it spits out all the reasons why you can't save 10%, or why you can't invest this and that, or why you can't invest in your Facebook advertising, or whatever it is, right? What about your limiting beliefs that we talked about earlier? I'll use mine. Why won't I ever be enough to achieve success, right? Ask yourself that right now. Why won't I ever be enough to achieve success? I bet a lot of you have had that thought before, right? And you're starting to wonder, how long should I push before I give up at this, right? Because that's what you're looking for. You're looking for red, right? Why won't I ever be enough to achieve success? You looked for the answer. Even if you're successful, you started to question yourself. That's how insidious negative self-talk really is. So what if you reversed it? If your responses are just like a Google search engine, that means whatever you type in, you're going to get an answer, right? So let's change what we type into our mental Google, right? Your brain is going to look for an answer to whatever the heck you ask it 100% of the time. So why not ask it an intelligent question that's going to lead to a better life? If you're consistently wired for unhappiness and stress and anxiety and sadness, it means one thing. It means you're asking really, really bad questions and you're getting bad results. So asking, why is it so hard to build my business? You're going to have a very hard time doing it. But what if you flipped it, right? What if you flipped that on its head and you ask yourself, why is it so easy to build my business, right? Because when you ask, why is it so hard? What do? When you sit down to work, you're scrolling Facebook instead of doing your invites, right? Or, you don't support your clients in your challenge group in the best way possible. You wonder why people are coming to other coaches, but they're not coming to you, right? And you start to wonder all these things, and then it just starts to build on each other. And here's what's crazy. There are amazing people that stumble into your life at all times. Remember, look for red, look for blue. That blue is in the room. It's with you, right? There are amazing opportunities and people that stumble across your life every single freaking day. But if you're running on the software of why is it so damn hard to build this thing, self-sabotage steps in and you're only going to find red. And you won't even notice the people or opportunities sitting right in front of you. If you're not where you want to be, you're literally getting what you're asking for because you're asking bad questions. Do you see the power in this? Right? So let's change it up. Ask yourself this question. Why is it so easy to change thousands of lives? Instead of why is it so hard to make $1,000 or why is it so hard to hit diamond rank? Why not change your question to why is it so easy to change thousands of lives? What happens? You still look for an answer, right? And even if you're brand new, you think of all the creative things you can do to post on social media. You think of different challenge group ideas. You think of different people you can reach out to and ask for help. So ask yourself this one. Why is it so easy to rank advance this week? Try that. Why is it so easy to rank advance this week? If you're a new coach watching this call, right? Emerald Coach, what? You got to find 2 people. That's it, right? But if you said, why is it so hard to rank advance this week? You're going to start thinking of what they're going to think of you when you reach out. You're going to start thinking of, am I going to be judged? Am I enough? Can I support these people? Can I lead these people? But if you ask yourself, why is it so easy, right? You're going to think of all the reasons why you can. You still look for an answer. And you start to focus on the opportunities, the people you could reach out to, the sacrifices you could make to build your business. Can you imagine if you filled your mind with this every day, right? And here's the key. You don't have to have the answer to the question that you ask. Right? You don't have to, if you ask, why is it so easy to change thousands of lives? You don't even need to know the answer. You just need to live in an empowering question that leads you towards the answer. Because if you're in the right state of mind and you know what you want and the direction you want to go, the how is going to reveal itself. All you got to know is why. And you got to ask the right questions. You'll figure out how. Don't worry about how. That's going to be uncovered. That's part of the growth journey you're going on, right? Always remember that. You don't need to know how. Because right now you're in a place that you need to be in to learn the answer to the question that's stopping you, right? And until you get past that, until you accept that and you become open to getting that answer, you're always going to be stuck. So write this down. Every problem that you face is simply a question that hasn't been answered yet. Every problem you face is simply a question that hasn't been answered yet. That is so simple, right? So for your life and your business, like everything, even with your spouse and your kids, write down all the negative stuff that you ask yourself all the time. Why am I so broke? Why is my business not growing? Why am I stuck? Why am I so fat? Why does my husband always annoy me? Whatever it is, write all of those questions down after you leave this call today. Write every single one of those down, and I want you to flip that question on its head. So turn those questions into, why is it so easy to blank? Why am I so wealthy? Why am I changing thousands of lives? Why is my business booming? Why is it so easy to lead my team? Why am I such a great leader? Right? I'm going to tell you the 2 questions that completely changed my life and helped me find my passion. And that is, why am I so kind to myself? And why am I worthy of living an amazing life? Guys, write this down. It is amazing how much easier life gets when you're just 1% nicer to yourself. It is incredible. Like, your life gets 100% better when you're just 1% nicer to yourself. So instead of just writing down those empowering questions and on the other side of your piece of paper and just leaving this call and not actually having them change your life, that's what a lot of us are going to do, but I challenge you not to. I challenge you to take those empowering questions and put them on Post-it notes. Put them on Post-it notes all over your house. If you're not healthy right now, what if you put, why is it so healthy? Why is it so easy to eat healthy in the fridge? And you saw that every time you open the fridge, would you be more likely to reach for the Nutella or the spinach, right? Think about that. So Post-it notes all over your house. Why am I such a great spouse? What if you put that on your car dashboard? And every time you pulled in from work, you saw, why am I such a great spouse? Could you imagine how much better of a relationship you'd have? Why am I such a great mom, right? Could you imagine how you greet your kids when they come home from school? It'd be so different. So Post-it notes, I'm telling you, they changed my life. Put them all over your house. And then what I did is I recorded these questions and I listened to them while I sleep. Okay, so I put them on my cell phone and I put it in my ears overnight, right? And disclaimer, like, make sure you have headphones that aren't a choking hazard, right? So but I listened to it in my mind while I slept. And that's what I did. That's how I rewired my negative self-talk. So your life will change if you do this. It will completely change. I promise you. This is just one thing that I did to change my life. But think about this. You're planting new thought seeds and you're watering them daily with a question. And all of a sudden, you stopped watering your disempowering plants, if you will. You let those weeds die in your garden. You started looking for blue instead. And now the only plants that you water are the flowers. And within less time than you think, your garden is going to be absolutely gorgeous because flowers grow fast, right? And it's blooming with so many different colors and it's giving your life oxygen again. And when your garden is beautiful, guess what? You're going to want to spend time in that beautiful garden. You're going to want to plant new creative flowers that grow even more beautiful flowers, right? Follow that metaphor. Because in your life, things are going to happen. And if you know how to change those limiting beliefs that get in your way, then you can accomplish anything, right? So I want to give you 2 more tools that I use besides just the questions to help you master your mindset, eliminate negative self-talk, and just crush fear. And the first tool is so simple that when I give it to my clients, they sometimes laugh, but it's so simple and it will change how you feel in an instant. I call it the secret sauce. You might know it as genuine gratitude. You might know this as genuine gratitude. Gratitude is a skill. It is something that can be practiced. It's something that you can learn and grow from. And I thought it was a crock of shit for a really long time. Excuse my language. I just thought it was, yeah, gratitude, whatever. I thought you needed a yoga mat and to be a hippie in order to practice gratitude, right? But seriously, gratitude is the cure-all, right? It is the gateway to everything you want. So I'm going to prove to you how in just a second, because we're going to go through an exercise to show you how gratitude can change your business. But it's real and it changed my life. So like, try to feel completely defeated while smiling really, really big in the mirror at the same time. It is impossible. It's impossible. Gratitude beats fear. Write this down. It is impossible to feel pain when you're deeply grateful, because in your life, guess what? You're going to experience pain. That's a guarantee. You will experience pain. Pain is coming. No matter what you do, pain will come. But suffering from that pain is your choice. That's up to you. And it's completely optional. And I don't mean gratitude where you say like, yay, I'm grateful I have a roof over my head. I mean where you feel genuine gratitude. Gratitude attracts people to you. They want to be part of your life. And if you're skeptical on practicing gratitude regularly, you're going to see in a second how it's a huge part of this. So like, remember the look for red, look for blue thing, right? Opportunities, things, situations, solutions come to you so much faster because you're grateful for what you already have. Something you should focus on and really understand, if you're stuck right now, if you want more, but you're not grateful for what you already have, you will never have more. Okay. So if you're spinning your wheels so many times over and over again, wondering why you're not getting to where you want to be, it's probably because you don't already appreciate what you already have. If you're God, the universe, whatever it is, are you going to reward someone that's bitching all the time about what they already have? Right? No. Right. And I'm just being real with you guys. When you are grateful, you attract the most amazing things to your life when you appreciate what you already have. The issue is that most of us don't take time to realize how lucky we really are. Think about this. You're watching a video on a computer or a phone on YouTube right now from anywhere in the world, right? You can be anywhere watching this. You're probably on a couch in a safe apartment or house. You probably have a cozy blanket over you right now or a cup of coffee. You probably are wondering what you're going to have for date night tomorrow night on Friday when you guys don't have to work on Saturday. You could take your kids to a hospital today if they needed medical care. You could take your dog to the vet to get treated for hot spots on his arm. And you probably are going to turn on your Apple TV tonight and watch a movie, right? You're probably going to do all that. And all of that we take for granted sometimes, right? When there's a mother out there who just watched her baby starve to death today. Not to get morbid on you, but it's true, right? When there are people out there injecting needles into their arm to cope with pain, when there are people that haven't started their fitness journey that need you, when there are countries that still live in communism, right? We're so accustomed to the miracles happening around us every single day that we don't see them as miracles anymore. Most of us, we view miracles as scarce, and we don't appreciate how literally everything around us was once just a thought or an idea. Guess what? Team Hardcore was once an idea when Janelle was working in corporate. It was an idea. That's all it was. And look what it turned into. With your help, obviously, but look what it turned into, right? The computer or phone you're watching was once an idea. So it proves to you that you can create miracles at any second in your mind, right? We have the tendency to let go of gratitude and make it a rule that we can only feel gratitude if something happens. And that's setting yourself up for suffering, right? How many of you guys have said, I'll finally be happy once I get to diamond, or I'll finally be happy once I get to 2-star? Nothing needs to happen in order for you to feel good. In fact, feeling good is how you get the thing to happen. You need to reverse it in your mind. As long as you structure your life in a way where your happiness is dependent upon a goal or an outcome, something that you can't totally control, then you will never be truly fulfilled in the way you want, right? You're always going to feel empty because your happiness is dependent on something. What if your happiness was the route that you took? What if your happiness was the method to get to your goals, right? What if your happiness, you realize that being happy attracted those business builders to you? If you've been getting people on your team to come to your team that are just not doing anything, you got to ask yourself, what are you putting out there? Because guess what? You're going to attract people that are like you, whether you like it or not, right? And the little things in them that you see that kind of hold you back or make you wonder why you're attracting this type of person, chances are you are creating that. It's because you are putting something out that's attracting that person to you. Even if you have a ton of success, you could be truly winning at life and feel like you're losing because the scorecard you're using is unfair, because it only allows you to feel happy if something happens. And achievement without gratitude is complete and total failure, right? You could be a 15-star Diamond 6 coach, right? But if you're not grateful for that, you failed, right? So write that down. Achievement without gratitude is total failure. It is impossible to feel pain when you're grateful, and pain is getting in the way of your business. If you live in the US or Canada or the UK and you're in the bottom 1% of those countries, the bottom 1%, you are in the top 1% of the world. So really think about this. You are breathing, you're alive. That should be enough to smile about. And if you're smiling, building a business becomes way friggin' easier. Guys, life without gratitude is misery. If you love life, nothing is worth being ungrateful for. We stress so much and forget the things to be grateful for. And when you're grateful, you open up the gateway to a great life, right? A lot of you have these amazing expectations, these super high expectations of the way your spouse is going to act, your kids, your team, your sales, the way that one of your challenge groups or new coach groups should go. And when your current life conditions, the way that life is right now, doesn't align with what you expected it to be like, you get frustrated, right? Almost like we have these rules of what needs to happen in order to be successful or to feel successful. I challenge you to let that go. Tony Robbins is one of like my all-time greatest mentors. Absolutely love him. And he has a quote that I love, and it is, trade your expectations for appreciations and your life changes in an instant. Because think about this, your challenge in your business, something you're expecting it to be further along. But when you start to appreciate that challenge and open yourself up to the lesson that you need to learn, all of a sudden your life changes, right? You become happy and you become more likely to do the things that you need to do to achieve success. So I have a challenge for you. Every morning before your feet hit the floor, I challenge you to do some sort of gratitude exercise, whatever it is. And not just like, yay, I'm grateful I have this bed, right? But real gratitude. And I'll show you one in just a second. But take 10 minutes. It can be journaling. It can be a video. It can be meditation. It can be just straight up appreciation. But your view of life literally determines your future. So every single day, condition your mind to focus on being grateful, and slowly the anxiety, the overwhelm, the depression, the fear, the negative self-talk about your business and your life, you're not going to notice it as much anymore. You're going to become excited about every single day. I went through a period of time where I knew what I wanted so bad, but I find myself on the couch just binge watching TV, having these bad days, like 4 days a week, right? It was terrible. I was just like morbid, depressed, sitting on the couch. And I was pissed off that I was depressed, right? Like, and I didn't get it. I was immobilized. I knew exactly what I needed to do, but I just didn't care, but I cared so much. It was like tell me if you guys have ever experienced this. My laptop was staring at me going, dude, what the heck is wrong with you? I'm right here, right? Just telling me to send my, my prospecting messages, all that stuff, but I just didn't care. But I cared so much, and it hurt. And from practicing gratitude, real gratitude, those periods of overwhelm and depression started to go away. It started to become 2 times a week, then once a month, then once every 3 months, then once every 6 months. And now my default setting is genuine happiness. Now my default setting is like, hey, what's going on, guys, right? And it came from practicing gratitude, and it made business way easier. So I get that there are some times still when you might get hit with a day where you get that woe is me feeling and get sad and it's kind of useless that day. But I can show you how to get out of it in 2 minutes. In fact, I learned from Tony Robbins that with every single situation, you can either solve it or lead yourself towards the answer in 2 minutes using gratitude. So we're going to show you right now how you can use gratitude as a tool for your business. Okay, so let me show you what I learned from him. I don't take credit for this. This is all Tony. I'm just showing you the example on this call today. So close your eyes. Actually, close your eyes. And if you guys do this with your eyes open, it's not going to work, right? It's not going to be nearly as impactful. Keep your eyes closed until I tell you to open them, okay? So think of a problem in your business that stresses you out on a scale of 1 to 10, 7, 8, or higher. What is a problem in your business that stresses you out on a scale of 1 to 10, 7, 8, or higher? If things are going amazing in your business, use your life. Anything, right? There's something going on, right? It can be your job, but any problem, and focus on that problem and all the pain and frustration that goes along with that problem. Focus on the negativity that comes out of that problem. Focus on the bad feelings and doubts that are created when you focus on that problem. So you got your problem, keep your eyes closed, and take your hands, put both your hands on your heart for a second. Actually do this, put both your hands on your heart with your eyes closed. And take a deep breath and imagine the air actually going into your heart. Like breathe in, keep your eyes closed, and imagine that breath going into your heart. And do another one, big deep breath in, and imagine that breath going into your heart. And actually feel your heart beating with your eyes closed. Feel it for a second. Your heart beats 100,000 times a day without you having to work for it. And as long as that thing beats, you live. You have this gift of life. You didn't need to work for it, right? God, the universe, whatever you believe in, thought enough of you to give you this gift of life the second you were born. So take a second and just feel so grateful for the fact that this thing's even beating right now. Keep your eyes closed. Just be so grateful for the fact that this thing's even beating right now, and feel that genuine gratitude for a second. What has this heart allowed you to do in your life? If it wasn't here, you wouldn't be able to do that thing, right? So with your eyes closed, go back now to an amazing memory from your past. At a moment at any stage, any time, just a memory you can feel total gratitude for. But instead of seeing that moment from the outside, step into that moment, relive that moment like you're there. Is it when you had your first kid? Is it when you said I do? Is it when you saw your spouse in that wedding dress? What is it for you? But instead of seeing it from the outside, relive it right now. Breathe the same way you did then. Feel the same things you felt then. Feel the same emotions you felt. Just picture everything, hear the same things, and relive that experience for a second and just feel so incredibly grateful that you experienced that memory. What did it lead to in your life? How is your life so much better because of that memory? And now do it with a second memory. Pick something else, any memory in your life. It's just something you can feel total gratitude for, right? Maybe it's your best friends. Maybe it's the business you've created. Whatever it is, find a memory in your life, something that you can feel so grateful for. I picture the first time I saw my wife in her wedding dress. That's mine. What's yours, right? And instead of seeing it from the outside, relive it. Step back into it like you're there, like it's happening. Breathe the same way you did then. Feel the same emotions you felt then. And just relive that experience for a second and just feel so grateful for that memory and everything that it led to. And keep your eyes closed and think of now a coincidence in your life. What's a coincidence in your life that you can be grateful for? You were in line at Starbucks and met the love of your life. This crazy Janelle lady reached out on Facebook and messaged you, and your life is totally different now because of it, right? What is a memory or a coincidence in your life that just led to something amazing, right? Last minute you switched colleges and you met your best friend. What is it for you? What did it lead to? Because it's really beautiful when we realize that life is always happening for us and not to us, right? So take a second and just feel so grateful that coincidence happened, and breathe into your heart and feel the gratitude from all those experiences piled on top of each other. The first memory, the second memory, the heart beating, and that coincidence. And just feel so grateful for this amazing gift of life for a second. And when you're there and you feel that genuine gratitude, breathe into your heart again really deep. And with your eyes remaining closed and your hand on your heart, think of that stressful moment you thought of a second ago. And just repeat the words to yourself. In this situation, all I have to do is blank. In this situation, all I need to say is blank. In this situation, all I need to become is blank. Because when you live in gratitude, your heart already knows the answer to your most challenging problems. You just solved your business stressor or found direction to a challenging situation in your business in 2 minutes. That is how gratitude helps your business. You guys can open your eyes. That's how much gratitude helps your business grow and helps you build it to the size of your dreams. That's how you can feel genuine happiness and eliminate negative self-talk on a regular basis. You obviously open your eyes now, but that's what you're really after, right? You want to feel genuine happiness. Your business doesn't cause happiness, right? We need to get that out of our head. Your business is a vehicle leading you to a better life, but your better life can be lived right now, right? You can be lived right this second. You have one shot at this life, real talk. And think about all the fears that have dominated your business and stopped you in your tracks from really going for it. After this call, you're going to see how you don't need to let those fears define you, right? You have one shot at this life. That's it. And most people go through life trying to stay safe, worried about what other people are going to think, never really going for it. You are not that person, because life could change at any time. You have one chance in this world, and you're not going to have all the answers to your problems before you go for it. And if you wait for the answers, you're going to be waiting forever. But realize that your clock on life is ticking, and at any moment, it could run out. You write this down. You can't control the length of your life, but you can control its depth and its meaning. And living in fear will not do that, right? It's not going to help you get ahead that way. You weren't put here to experience mediocrity. You were put here to feel fully alive every second of every single day. So you have to take your pain and make it mean something. Without the screaming matches I witnessed every single day as a child, I wouldn't be nearly as loving as a spouse to my wife as I am now. Without the horrible imprint of money in my life, I wouldn't have learned how to have an abundant mindset and how to attract money and people and opportunities in the way that I have. Without the constant feeling of mediocrity that I felt every single day and those depressing episodes sitting on the couch feeling sorry for myself, I wouldn't have created bradbizjack.com. I wouldn't have created my hunger, my drive, my passion for helping people feel this way, right? Without being so confused by my mom's way of showing love in the only way she knew how at the time, I wouldn't have craved acceptance. And if I didn't crave acceptance, I wouldn't have ever learned how to be a speaker. I wouldn't have followed my passion. I wouldn't be living my passion. I wouldn't have learned how to forgive. I wouldn't have the loving relationship that I have with my mom. If your life, really think about this, if your life was exactly as you wanted it to be in the past, if your life never went through those painful points, if the people in your life were the perfect version that you haven't forgiven them for not becoming, you wouldn't be the gift of a person you are today. You wouldn't be able to make the impact that you're able to make today. You went through those experiences for a reason. They were crafting you, they were molding you, they were sculpting you into the person that you are today. Those memories, those people, that person is exactly who you needed them to be. They don't give you an excuse anymore. They played the exact role they needed to play. What they did might not have been easy or fun at the time, but guess what? It wasn't wrong because it created you. So be grateful that you went through it. You wouldn't be the person you are today without it. So as we close this up, I want you to imagine for a second that you're 85 years old. You're looking back at your life. You're sitting on your front porch drinking sweet tea or Energized, whatever the hell you're drinking at 85, right? And you're watching your kids go by on their bike, right? Or not your kids, your grandkids going by on their bikes, just starting out their journey. What would you want to feel as you close that last chapter of your book of life? Do you want to regret being dominated by fear and never really going for it? Or do you want to smile knowing that those kids, their life is better because you lived, and be so grateful for that life that you lived? You left a legacy instead of living in fear, because there's no guarantees that you're going to be 85 to experience that. You could literally die tomorrow. So really think about this. If this was your last night on earth, think about this. What would you think about the way that you lived up until now? Death is one of the greatest teachers in life. And I'm not trying to be morbid, it's just real, right? Imagine for a second that death was a person, just for a second, play this with me. And he came to you tonight and said, yo, it's time to go, right? And you asked for another week so you could really live it, so you can make those phone calls, so you could show your husband or wife that you really love them, so you could forgive that person, right? He would laugh at you and say, dude, I gave you 25, 35, 45 years to enjoy your life. You chose not to. So it's time to go. So if you're in that spot on your front porch, you're watching your grandkids go by on their bikes, picture yourself. If you continue living in fear the same way you've been living, are you genuinely happy in that moment? Are you smiling? Are you living your real truth? Or are you sitting there wishing you could be those grandkids and just start this over again because you never really went for it, because you always held back, because you let negative self-talk control you? You said no to playing all out in this gift of life. And I can't fast forward to that moment and have a guarantee that it's going to end up the way that you currently want it. But you can remember that the clock on life is ticking and you never know when it's going to run out. So when is now a good time to play all out and be truly happy? Because you weren't put here to suffer, guys. You were put here to be dominated by empowering thoughts, not negative self-talk. So if this was your last night, think about this. Let's take this beyond Beachbody and go into your real life. If this was your last night on earth, would you worry about the little grudges or complaints? Would you worry about the bank account? Would you worry about what your friends said to you? Would you worry about the way that your spouse loaded the dishwasher? Would you worry about why your business isn't where you wanted it to be? Would you worry about hitting Success Club and how you're less of a person if you don't get there? Would you think about that? Would it be fair to you to cause yourself all that stress? Would it be fair to limit your abilities and beliefs because of insignificant things like that? Not one bit. So why not live every single week like you would that last week? How would every interaction in your life be different if you lived all out like you would that last week? How would you love your family differently? How would you go into the room after this call and give your husband or wife a kiss? Would it be different? Right? How would you hold your new baby boy? How would you play with your dog? How would you greet your business partners? How would you handle the word no? How would you change the way you reach out to your prospects? How would you make your interactions mean something? Would you make memories, every single memory that you have in your life, every single moment lasts just a couple beats longer, right? Instead of being so rushed all the time, would you take your eyes up from this thing and enjoy this beautiful gift that you have here? What if you took an extra second every single day to remember the imprint of your kids' arms around you? Like, how would your life change? Think about that. What if you took a moment to remember your head on your husband's chest that night, right? What if you learned to make a memory out of your life and appreciate and love every waking moment? What memories could you leave with those around you? What words of wisdom could you share with your son or daughter? Who would you empower? Would you forgive your parents, right? Would you tell them you love them? How would you make your wife feel? Think about that. What legacy would you leave if you were in that situation? So don't fear that situation. The end of your life is just simply a metaphor used for perspective, life perspective on this call. But it's coming at some point, right? And the only reason it's uncomfortable to talk about it is because you crave life. And life is something that you literally can live every single second of every single day. It's how you answer those questions I just asked. That's life. So why not live every week like you would that last week? Why not play all out in this thing called life? Who would you uplift? Who would you touch? Would you be dominated by fear, or would you go all out with your life? How would you hold your husband? How would you play out and all out in everything you do? So imagine how your life would be so different if you lived every single day that way. Understand something as we close this up. You are exactly where you need to be right now to learn the lesson you need to learn, to live the life that you're meant to live. And when you see it that way, and you're grateful for the lesson and the amazing things that are happening in your life, more amazing things will start happening. So imagine a legacy of passion, love, and happiness that you leave in this world, right? You learned how to create that today. So remember, every challenge you face is a gift. It's not life happening to you, it's life happening for you. So thank you guys so much for the opportunity to speak to you today. If you found this valuable, please reach out. I got plenty of resources that can help you. Thank you so much for your time. And Janelle, I will turn that back over to you, my friend.
Oh my gosh, Brad, thank you so much. That was incredible. I loved your, the empowering questions and the whole thing about gratitude, because I'm a huge believer of that. And I know everyone on the call is too. I've got comments just exploding over here. People saying, wow, I'm crying. I so needed this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I mean, it's amazing. And everything you said is just so spot on true. But I think the analogies really help me like figure out why it is we think the way it is, and how we can change that, because it's so easy to just say to someone, well, you've got to change your mindset. You've got to help your team members change their mindsets. You've got to help them believe. Well, how? Like, what are the actual tools? How do we equip them to help them change their mindsets? So this was absolutely huge. Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you so much for your time. Brad, I don't know, can you hear me okay? I've got like a lawnmower right outside my window.
Yeah, you're good.
Where can they follow you?
Yeah, guys, if you head to bradbizjack.com, I have like a bunch of free articles and stuff on there that can help you out. So that's the best place there, or my Facebook page.
bradbizjack.com. You guys, Bizjack is Bizjack. Am I right? bradbizjack.com. Oh my gosh, everyone's blown up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I so needed this. Awesome. Thank you, Brad. I really appreciate your time.
Of course.
So helpful.
Of course. Any questions I can answer for you guys or anything? Or I know that you said that they might have some questions, or is it?
Let's see. I'm scrolling for questions. Just huge gratitude. Gratitude like crazy. I'm not seeing any questions though. I think that it's one of those things where we're all just like, wow, that was mind-blowing and had never thought of it that way. So thank you. We appreciate your time so much, Brad.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here, and I hope you guys got a lot out of it.
We certainly did. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for getting on today's call. I thought it was amazing. Please pass it on to your coaches as well. And next week, we have Christy Krosner. She's a Superstar Diamond coach, always right up there with the top coaches. And I love her as a speaker as well. And she's speaking on our call next week. Hope you can still hear me. I've got this lawnmower over here. And next week might actually be, instead of YouTube Live, I might actually do it as a Facebook Live on the Coach Success page. So stay tuned for the announcement of that training. I always put it as the pin post in the Coach Success page. So with that, thanks again for getting on, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks. Bye-bye, Brad. See you later, guys.